People want to say shit, see me in the booth.
48 degrees in February in Maine. It's amazing. So, we gotta turn the zoom up. Boop. Alright. So, I'm running a couple errands today. Probably gonna clean the car out, give it a wash, go tanning. We're at the tanning place now. But I was watching a documentary last night. It's on Netflix. I don't know if anybody has seen it. It's called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It chronicles basically a 60-day time period of a 41-year-old Australian gentleman, actually, who comes to the U.S. and he goes on a 60-day juice fast where he only drinks fruits and veggies. He has a juicer. He doesn't have like any kind of limit. He has to drink juice whenever he wants. And it's kind of funny because well, he's going through this, this cycle where he's all about wealth. He chooses wealth over health, and he spent his whole life worrying about money and fast cars and that going out, and that accumulated to he got this some rare chronic hives disease where like he gets these weird skin rashes all the time and things like that, and he just he talks about how choosing wealth over health has brought him to a point where his life where he has all these health conditions. And it really spoke to me, not only because obviously as a bodybuilder I'm very into health and fitness and all that stuff, but just because people he stays in New York for 30 days. He only drinks juice, veggies and fruits, like I said, and then after the 30 days, he travels from New York across the United States for the other 30 days, staying in various hotels. But the interesting thing about it is, along the way, he stops and he talks to a lot of different people about, he goes into restaurants and things like that, and he sits down and he just talks to these people about, being health conscious. What are you eating? And what do you what's your diet like? And majority of the people, their diet shit. They're overweight. They eat out most of the week. They only cook at home 2 times maybe a week or a month or whatever it was. And he went into this pawn shop, and he was talking to this guy and his wife about if there was something that was killing 70 million people in the world, what would you think it was? And the guy's answer was probably smoking. And he goes, well, what's your diet like? And what do you know about fasting? And the guy's like, well, I don't know much. I know a lot about eating. And he goes, well, what if I told you could add 10 plus years on your life if you, were a little bit more conscious about what you put into your body? And what the guy's response was? The guy's response was, oh, well, he asked him, what do you think your life expectancy is if you continue eating like this? And he asked a lot of these people, and a lot of the answers was early 40s, 50s, 55. And, he's like, well, whose fault is that? That, you're only going to live to be 55. And they always go, well, it's me. I choose what to eat. Nobody tells me what to eat. I'm, in control. And so the guy at the pawn shop, he goes, well, I'd rather die fat and happy at 55 than live, 10 or live to 65. And I was blown away, guys. I was blown away by this because it's ridiculous that we as Americans would die fat, unhealthy, and happy, that instead of, cooking at home 5 times a week and maybe having 2 cheat meals, just to keep yourself sane, instead of just eating all this crap, all this processed food. And a lot of the doctors he was working with, they spit out an interesting fact that 61% of Americans' diets are all processed food. See, when the food that you buy from the grocery store and stuff like that, when it's not from its natural roots, like straight from the earth, when it goes through that process, you lose a lot of the nutrients, the way they heat it up and, they put it through all this mechanical shit. You're only getting about 1/10 of the real nutrient that's in it. And that really, it really boils me because, both my parents are smokers, and, I've obviously tried to get them to quit, and, that's kind of like their same mentality is, I've done it for so long, there's no possible way I could stop now. I would kill somebody, and I just think that's bullshit. I think that we need to take control of our lives. Like a lot of those people said, we're in control of what we eat, and we're in control of heading down, the path that we're on, or choosing a different path and heading down that one that might lead to 10, 15, 20 years, longer. If you wanted to see your grandkids grow up and graduate high school, like, isn't that something worth living for? Don't you want to live to see that? And if that means cutting out fast food, I mean, is it really that big of a deal? Is it really that hard, guys? To cut out the shit? The fucking burgers and the pizza. Don't get me wrong, I love pizza. Pizza's my number one go-to cheat meal when I can do it. But guys, in moderation. Just like anything in life, in moderation, it's okay to have pizza and burgers, but it's not okay to eat out pizza and burgers every single day of the week, or every single meal for an entire day. That's just we only get one life. One life to do it right, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit back and, throw my fucking life away because I'd rather have a slice of pizza. Like, no, it's not worth it to me. It's really not. And it's not just because, I'm a bodybuilder, but just as a real human person. I think that if we have a little bit more self-control, then we could come together. Oh, excuse me. We could come together and, we could live to be 90. We could live to be 100. I mean, if it's all about the way you eat in the long run. A lot of us, your typical average American dinner, right, is some sort of meat. The other third is some sort of processed, starchy carb, and some, other refined carb. It's bullshit. And I think that's just the way that, a lot of people were taught generations ago, and they just passed that down, and then that's the way that we think we should eat. Even home-cooked meals can be unhealthy, Cooking and all that fat and oil and all that shit, that can still be unhealthy. You can still cook at home and be unhealthy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we need to be a little more conscious about what we put into our bodies and what the stuff that we put into our bodies does once it's in there. I grew up, you know, my mom always cooked, you know, at home, and I loved chicken nuggets as a kid, guys. I loved, you know, McDonald's McNuggets. And when I was in high school, I used to eat a lot of Hot Pockets, and I used to chug Gatorade all the time, and all this oven food that, you know, it was crap because, you know, I was poor, and I didn't have, you know, I didn't know anything about nutrition or dieting back then. And nobody sat down and told me that it wasn't okay, you know, and that's a lot of the reasons that when people start a diet, you know, 5, 6 a week into it, they're like, fuck this, like I don't want to do this anymore. Because guys, if you think about it, all those years that you ate like shit, a week of dieting and working out is not gonna fix that. It takes years and years and years. You know, all that trans fat and all that crap you put into your body for the past 10 years, if you start a diet, you need to stick to it, you know? For at least half of the amount of time that you ate like shit. You know, if you never worked out before and you're, you know, 30, 40 years old, you ate like shit, you never worked out, you're overweight, and you try starting a diet, you know, most of the time people don't last because they just can't do it. They don't have that self-control. But if you think about it, you need to give yourself time to adapt, because all those years you ate like shit, you know, 2 months of dieting isn't gonna negate all of that. It's not gonna cancel it out. Like it amazes me what people think. We're just so naive. And actually, I didn't get through the film because it was late, and I ended up pausing it and going to bed. But I only watched about 45 minutes, and I have this new outlook. Not that, you know, I always try to eat, especially when I'm cutting, guys. I always try to eat at least 2 servings of veggies and a sweet potato every single day. And I try to cut down on the processed refined foods, the carbs, all that crap. You know, the potatoes, the white potatoes, and, you know, I like, if it doesn't come from the ground, you know, or an animal or a plant or something, then it usually doesn't go into my body. And I know, you know, a lot of people are to be like, oh, well, Chris, you're a little vegetarian now, and you're vegan. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have a little bit of fucking self-control, and it just might help you out in the long run. I mean, I know it will. During his trip through New York, he talked to one lady who was older, and he convinced her to do a 10-day fast with the juice. And in day 1, she sipped it, and then I think she ended up going to the bathroom after that because she couldn't handle it. And you know, she was grocery shopping, and she wanted all this crap, you know, the donuts and the cake and all that stuff, and you know, she just, you know, she couldn't. I mean, I'll find out later if she ended up doing the whole 10 days, but that's what you gotta do. You gotta start small, and then you can go big. You know, don't just jump right on a fast for 60 days of just juice after years of eating like shit. Like, there's no way that you're gonna survive. You need to do it. You need to start slowly. Start going to the gym a couple times a week. You know, cutting down on the times you go out. Eating out during the week, and then slowly build your way up to maybe start out, you know, 3 times a week going to the gym and cooking at home, you know, 4 times a week, and then after a month you maybe have 2 days that you go out, and you start going to the gym 4 days a week. It's just the little things like that, they add up. And it builds, you know, your body adapts, and you build it, and your taste buds eventually they change. And it, like I said, it might be able to save your life. If you're somebody out there who might be headed down the wrong path, and you're on all these meds and you have all these health conditions, look at the way you eat. I mean, really look at it. Look at the back of stuff. Like, there's a nutrition label. There's that for a reason, guys. Although sometimes it might not even tell the whole story. Nutrition labels, they're there to help us. They don't just print that shit for no reason. And a lot of us need to start looking at it, and a lot of us need to start looking at what's inside. Like, go down. A lot of people don't know this, but if you go down to the bottom of a nutrition label, it tells you how many percent of vitamins and minerals. Those are the micronutrients. That's the stuff you need. Micronutrients are vitamin, minerals, and macronutrients are all the other stuff. So it's a combination. But if you go down to the bottom of the label, it'll tell you what the serving size has this percent of your daily value of vitamin A or vitamin K or vitamin C or calcium. And then if you go all the way down, guys, there's in the fine print, I know they put it in fine print, but it tells you, if it's processed wheat products, cornstarch, it tells you what's in it. And if you really pay attention and you look at that stuff, it'll just be way better in the long run. And I don't know, guys. It really kind of, even I sometimes, I'll stop and I'll get stuff at the store, like a grilled chicken sandwich from Wendy's and stuff, and or I'll go and get like a cookie or something, and I'm gonna start eating more stuff from the earth. I mean, the earth it gives us a lot of good stuff, and we overlook it. We think sweet potato is gross. Like, I'd rather have this russet potato instead. But I mean, those are the little things that really matter. If you wanted to, spice it up a little bit, then, cut your sweet potato up, throw some rosemary, maybe some coconut oil, and, make fries, or like bake them and make sweet potato fries, even though they're not fried, they're just baked. But you need to find a way to do it, and you need to have self-control. And we as Americans need to take control of our lives. The food industry and everything else, it's, they put that shit out there, but that doesn't mean that we have to buy it. Try going to your local produce and, getting stuff locally grown stuff, your onions and your cucumbers and your tomatoes and things like that. Try doing that for a change, and, maybe, try juicing. The liquid from the juice, instead of eating 400 calories worth of veggies, if you drink it, one, it's going to get absorbed faster, and two, you don't have to sit down and eat a whole plate of veggies and fruits, because that's no fun for anybody. So juicing is another option too. If I had a juicer, believe me, I'd do it too. I'll tell you guys a funny story. When I first started eating healthy, and I was on bodybuilding.com, and I was looking up, cookie cutter plans, 10 eggs and oatmeal and stuff like that, before I really knew about, counting macros and things like that. I was eating broccoli because obviously broccoli is good for you. And I remember choking down, raw broccoli and trying to put peanut butter on it and holding my nose and eating it just so I could, get it down. And then obviously that didn't last very long because I didn't like it. So I switched over to green beans. I like green beans. I throw them in my rice, in my chicken, and eat them like that. Or, I'll have green beans and some type of meat. It's just, you gotta find alternative ways to do it. I'm not saying everybody has to go out and, you know, eat stuff they don't like, but you need to find ways to get those micronutrients in your body, because our bodies, they're temples, guys. We only get one body. We only get one body, and we only get one life. And I hate to see people throw it away over little shit like cigarettes and, you know, drinking. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me to drink. Why? You know? If you need to drink to have fun, then, I mean, so be it, but at least do it in moderation, you know? You don't need to be drinking wine every single night. Like, it's just not, it's not good for you. And I want to be a spokesperson for everybody out there that doesn't think that they can do it. You can do it. And I'm telling you right now, from somebody who used to eat like crap all the time, and wondered why I was never, you know, gaining muscle when I first went to the gym. I mean, I got those newbie gains, but if I had taken full advantage of those newbie gains, and if I was eating right at that point, I mean, who knows where I'd be today. But for you know, the first 2 or 3 years started lifting, I was eating like crap, and I always wondered why I wasn't getting any bigger, any stronger. Well, now I know. And we're at 21. I don't want to make this video too long, guys. I know I put out a long video yesterday, but I just watched it last night, and it really kind of, you know what really grinds my gears? You know, the Peter Griffin. Yeah, so take control of your own life, guys. You can do it. And if you need extra motivation every day, you know, go look up, you know, people who have done it. Maybe on YouTube. Just find those little things throughout the day to get you through. Drink more water. And, you know, cut out the soda. All those sugary carbs, you don't need them. I don't even remember the last time I had a soda, guys. I mean, to be honest with you, it's just, you don't need it. Soda does nothing for you. There's no nutrients. There's nothing in soda except for sugar. And carbs that you know you could use for something else. You know, use those carbs, that 50 grams of carbs that's in a can of soda. Use that for, you know, maybe a sweet potato or veggies, or instead, why don't you eat some fruit instead? 2 bananas equals just you know, the same amount of sugar, but it has potassium and, you know, vitamin K and stuff like that. So just kind of do a sugar trade-off. If you want something kind of sweet like that. Bananas are always my go-to. I love bananas. Or, you know, maybe try looking up some recipes. Apples and strawberries, and let's just get back to our roots, guys. And, you know, if this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, and you know, share it with all your friends, because like I said, I want to be a spokesperson and, you know, a poster boy for this sort of thing. So that's that. We're gonna hit a push workout tonight. And another thing too, guys, another thing too is, when you change the way you eat, when you eat, you know, more veggies and things like that, you feel better. You might feel less energized, you know, when you first start, but after a while of juicing, this guy, you know, he felt more energized and he felt good. And after a while, it wasn't hard for him to drink only juice. It was easy, and you know, he just did it because, you know, he felt good and he felt energized and he felt better. And just from juicing and not even working out, guys, he was just juicing, cutting out all the processed foods. I mean, it was just veggies and fruits, and He lost over 50 pounds just doing that. 60 days and he lost 50 pounds. When was the last time you guys dropped 50 pounds? And, you know, when was the last time you guys can say that you were 50 pounds lighter than you are now? Maybe 10 years ago? When you were younger? I mean, come on. Let's start holding ourselves accountable for this kind of crap. Don't sit there and give me the, you know, I'm gonna die happy, and, you know, as long as I have my cigarettes, or as long as I have my, you know, I'll drink myself to death if it makes me happy. It's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit right now, I'm telling you. When you're laying there on your deathbed, you're gonna fucking wish that, you know, you didn't drink every single night, or, you know, maybe you stayed home that night and made you know, a nice home cooked meal instead of going out to McDonald's. You're gonna wish when you're dying, when you're dead, you know, people are gonna look back and be like, wow, man, he really ate like shit his whole entire life, and, you know, he died of a heart attack. And that's just it, you know. Let's hold ourselves accountable, and let's have a little bit more self-control, guys.